Hey guys, what's going on? It's Antonio from Macquarie Press. I just watched The Irishman. I don't know why I waited so long to watch it, but every time I tried to pull it up, it was like 3.5 hours long. So I was like, oh God, it's like a fourth of my day. So I gotta give it up. I gotta really commit to this. This is like a relationship or something. So I ended up, but they did the Oscar nominations the other day. They got nominated for 10 awards, and I'm a big Scorsese buff. I love Martin Scorsese movies, so that was definitely something I wanted to do. So I finally knuckled up and I sat down and I watched it. I heard a lot of the criticism. They were saying people were saying that the special effects look fake, and um, you know, various other little complaints. But I'm gonna break it down briefly on some of my thoughts on the movie. First of all, I thought the movie was great. It doesn't look like any other Martin Scorsese movie. They used like a HD cam. It doesn't look like it was shot on film. I'm not even sure if they used film. It appears to have been shot. It almost looks like a reality show. That's what the movie kind of looks like to me. The lighting. I was watching with a buddy of mine. One of the things I said was, it's like when you're playing Grand Theft Auto or Call of Duty or something, and you're in story mode, and you get through the level, and they have the cinematic part. They have the little cinematic cut scene in there. That's kind of the way the Irishman looked to me. It kind of looked like that. It didn't. Any other Scorsese film like Goodfellas or Taxi Driver, obviously Casino, which is one of my favorites. I just, man, I just really, I thought it was unusual. I was like, this, but it wasn't off-putting, but it's just different. I've seen so many Scorsese movies, it seemed a little odd, but it wasn't horrible. Talk about the special effects. They spent $160 million on this film. Special effects actually weren't bad. They de-aged Robert De Niro. They de-aged Joe Pesci. They de-aged Al Pacino. I'm assuming they de-aged Harvey Keitel as well. There was a lot of de-aging going on, but wasn't off-putting. Some people said it looked fake, but here's the thing. I go back to some of the parts that I had said about when Rogue One came out, and those of you that seen Rogue One know that they used a digital Peter Cushing. They had an actor stand in, say the lines, and then they just superimposed Peter Cushing's face on that actor's body. And I saw some people at that time, they were like, "Oh, it looks kind of fake." Blah 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 blah. Here's the thing. I remember at that time, I watched Rogue One with a lady I was going out with. She's not a Star Wars fan. She didn't know anything about the movies, any of that kind of stuff, right? Because I was arguing with a buddy of mine. The movie looked fake, right? He was telling me that he didn't like the Peter Cushing effects, Grand Moff Tarkin, that he didn't look real, and I told him, I said, I think you're wrong. Those are some of the most convincing special effects I've ever seen, especially compared to like when you see movies that were done in the 80s and the early 90s. How the way the special effects are now is unreal. So I put the Irishman in that same vein. But my lady friend, she wasn't a Star Wars buff. She had no idea that Peter Cushing was even dead or anything. She didn't know he's passed away some time ago, right? She had no idea. She watched the movie. I didn't tell her. Boom. Sitting there with my buddy, we were talking. I was like, "Oh yeah, we watched Rogue One." Blah 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 blah. And he goes, "Yeah, you thought the special effects looked cheesy too?" And she was like, "What are you talking about?" She had no idea. And that's when he got it. And because that was one of the things I was arguing with him about. I was like, okay, you know Peter Cushing's dead. I know Peter Cushing's dead. We're both big Star Wars fans. Someone watch this movie 20, 30, 40, 100 years from now, they're not going to know anything. They're just going to think Peter Cushing's another actor on the screen. They're not going to know it was fake. So when you go into it without that bias, those special effects are amazing and they're convincing and people believe it. It's going to be the same way with The Irishman. Because that's one thing I noticed. The computer effects on Robert De Niro's face looked very convincing. However, the way he was moving, I mean, he's 76 now. I think he was about 74 when they started shooting the movie. He moved like an old man. He definitely moved like an old man. But I've been watching Robert De Niro movies for 40 years, so I knew that. So I was like, okay. So because I have biases going in, I already know what to look for, and that's what hangs it up. But if I go in cold and I don't know that he's actually 70 some odd years old when he's doing this, and those special effects, say somebody 50 years from now and they watch that movie, they're not going to realize that. And they're just going to just go, oh, okay, it's Robert De Niro doing another movie. They're not even going to think about it. See, that's the point of that. So it's the same thing with the Rogue One Peter Cushing thing. You don't know, so you just go with it. Once you know you're looking for something, it's like when you see a magician. You know the magician's trying to trick you, so you're trying to see for all you're looking for all the tails. You're trying to see, oh, okay, oh, well, I see it. He tricked you, sleight of hand, all that kind of stuff. So that's what you're looking for. And if you go into the Irishman and you're looking, okay, that's fake, then you're gonna get it. You're gonna start looking for little things. You're gonna nitpick every little light, every shadow, and all that kind of thing. But if you're completely innocent, don't know anything about the movie, don't know anything about Scorsese or Robert De Niro films, Joe Pesci, any of that kind of stuff, and you're like I said, 30, 40 years from now, and that movie comes up and you just happen to watch it, you're not going to be thinking about that stuff because you're not going to know. That's why I say those special effects are very convincing to someone. If I just come in cold and I don't know anything about Robert De Niro or Al Pacino, any of that stuff, those special effects are very convincing. Performances were solid. Al Pacino was great. Joe Pesci was great. Harvey Keitel, it was great seeing Harvey. It was like a lot of people I've seen in a lot of gangster movies. That's one thing I love watching gangster movies. I love Scarface and mob stuff. You've seen guys that you've seen in like The Sopranos and a couple of guys from The Wire like Dominic Labardozzi and stuff like that. And there's a lot of what's the guy? He's a British actor. He played Al Pacino. He played Al Capone on Boardwalk Empire. I can't remember. He was also in the Steven something. I can't remember his last name because I don't write scripts. I just go off the dome. But he was in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and he played Al Capone on Boardwalk Empire. And he's British, and he always does great accents. He's one of those rare European actors. Like when they come and they try to do like American accents, it always sounds real cheesy and stuff. But I always dig his accents. He's great, and he's great at playing the gangster. He's a brilliant actor. He was in there. I was just like, just movie. Like I said, it's 3.5 hours long. It's a long, so be prepared. Get your popcorn and your blankets and get prepared. But definitely a thumbs up. I like The Irishman. I really dug it. Hey, check it out. It was dope. All right, let me wrap it up. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, right here on this YouTube, all at Akari Press. I'm out.